Okay, let's talk about this big question, which was Naito Konan's question too. What does history teach us? What lessons do we draw for the present from history? And if I want to ask you that question, but then I thought for myself, how do I answer that question? And you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I have a good answer to that question. Why would studying Chinese history be good for Americans? Right? I can understand why Americans would study American history, but why study Chinese history in America? What lesson do we learn? And I thought about it, because I thought I had to be able to tell you what I thought we could learn from the present from Chinese history. And I think that one of the things, there are many things. The big thing is that in studying Chinese history, I'm trying to show Americans that civilizations can develop along different paths. We don't all have to be the same. The civilizations can have many directions. And the fact that we go in different directions doesn't mean we have to fight, doesn't mean we have to have wars, but it means we have more choices. People can be more than they are at the moment, right? So we have freedom in the end to decide how we want to go. I agree with you that the questions we ask, right, are not, or the problems we face today were not created overnight, and they're not going to be solved overnight, right? Sima Qian in the Shiji says the same sort of thing, right? That problems of the present develop over a long period of time. But in fact, we do have choices. And I think that's the great lesson for me from history, is that people have choices to make. And then there's another thing that I learned from Chinese history, which is that in China, and because I'm very interested in Suming Li Xue, in Dao Xue, it's not because I believe it, right? Du Yiming, my colleague Du Yiming, is a philosopher. I'm not a philosopher. I'm an historian. And historians keep their distance from philosophy. He's a philosopher. Right? Even though he's studying financial history. But one of the things that interests me about Neo-Confucianism, for better or for worse, is that they tried to make a connection between the personal and the political, between how you live your life and the cultivation of your own self and how you act in society. I think that's worth thinking about. But they also were very moralistic, right? Which meant they didn't do certain things. They didn't try to make institutions work better, right? They didn't try to make the economy work better. They focused a lot on how you behaved as an individual. But in any case, that's me.